feel a little clearer just now. We have.
No?
All of us have. Wouldn't have changed any. I need you to know that.
No.
So many times and we didn't know it. All of us.
I don't think she can hear us. We need to get Luke out of here. We need to get him to the hospital. Get him.
All this time we tried to get into this room and I can't get the fuck out.
I feel like I've been here before. We have.
Yeah.
So many times and we didn't know it. All of us. I feel a bit clearer now. Everything's been out of order. I thought for so long that time was like a line. Then our moments were laid out like domino, tipping one into the next, in a long line between the beginning and the end. But I was wrong. Our moments fall around us like rain or confetti. Mom says that a house is like a body. This room is like the heart of the house. No, not a heart, a stomach.
Oh no.
It was your dance studio, Theo.
Yeah.
It was my toy room.
God.
I should find the
It was
compass.
a reading room for Mom. The game room for Steve. The family room for Shirley. Treehouse. But it was always the red room. I'm like a small creature swallowed whole by a monster, and the monster feels my tiny little movements inside. You have to live.
I don't know how to do this without you.
Oh.
There's no way out. I am now gone. I'm scattered into so many pieces. Sprinkles on your life. New snow.
I'm so sorry our last words were in anger.
They weren't our last. Sorry. I'm sorry that I didn't answer the phone. But you did. So many times.
I'm sorry if I didn't listen. I'm sorry.
I wouldn't have changed anything. I need you to know that forgiveness is warm, like a tear on a cheek. Think of that and of me when you stand in the rain. I loved you completely, and you loved me the same. That's all. The rest is confetti.
Is he gonna die instead?
I think he might, yeah.
But I don't think he'll mind
Nope.
if it means they get to live. Is that Mum or Nelly?
The first was young Miss Cotton.
Oh,
She
God.
tried not to let him in. He stabbed her with a corn knife. That's how his crimes began. Stay away.
Yes. The ghosts are fighting now.
Forgive a girl for being lonely. Nothing's sadder than a cold bed. But all those wedding beds go cold, don't they, loves?
She was stood over him before, wasn't she? When
Journey's end, lovers meeting. I have spent an all but sleepless night. I have told lies and made a fool of myself. You've changed so much.
For my heart.
How long has it been since you were here?
Longer than I intended. It's too hard to see you here this way.
oh,
But I still had you with me.
No, love. That wasn't me. That was just you. What were you doing all this time away?
I was holding the door.
he's Hodor.
I had my back against it and my arms out wide because I knew there were monsters on the other side and they wanted what was left of our family. And I held it so hard and I didn't have arms left for the kids. The monsters got through anyway.
That's what monsters do. But not here.
No, especially here.
They're out there and we're in here and the children are finally safe.
They're not. They're dying.
They're waking. I woke up at the foot of these stairs and I started walking. No more headache. No now, no then. I dreamed of you and the children's laughter. And then I'd remember that you took them from me. You took them and they suffered.
They did. They all do. And even if they're broken or addicted or joyless, or yes, even if they die, we have to watch it all. That's the deal we make.
It's a horror.
It doesn't have to be. I saw our daughter dance at her wedding. Her smile was like a light. We created a new star.
Stars die. The night sky is full of dead stars. They explode to death.
And if you could reach up with some great hand and pull them down just before they burst, you would. We're all safe now. This is our forever house. Nothing bad will ever touch them, ever.
Nothing good will either.
Yeah.
Open that door. I know you can open that door.
They'll die.
They will die if they stay. They're dying now. Our babies are dying. Let them go.
I'll be alone again.
He'll stay. He's gonna stay.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the kids in that room,
And Nelly's there.
I would have followed you right into the darkness. But those kids live. If you open that door, I will make a promise to you that I will keep forever. Please, let me fix this.
Oh. I thought he might end up sacrificing himself for the kids.
Your lover's meeting.
Oh, fucking hell.
Look. Stay awake. Stay with.
Start the car. Good boy.
What did they see in that room?
Closest. I can navigate. Are you guys coming with us?
I thought it was just a stumble.
There's one more thing your brother and I have to do here. We'll see you there. What?
Is she keeping Stephen as well?
No, but I think he has to
See her.
acknowledge what happened. He needs the truth. He's been owed it for like 20 years now.
Yeah. Or he's saying a proper goodbye to him finally. Because they were so close. I don't know. Can't talk.
Probably best you didn't say anything to them.
Dad, what did I see?
The 3 hours. The final piece of the puzzle.
It's all the blood.
Yeah, the last secret of Hill House.
What happened? Why are you here? Did you see? What happened?
Oh.
I don't know. We were looking for...
They finally came back after dark.
Why? Did he call them?
They were looking for their daughter.
They were looking for Abigail. Fuck.
I can fix it. Put her down. No, I can fix this.
You can't.
Why are you even here?
Our daughter snuck out of the bed without baby.
Abigail. Fucking hell.
Steve's starting to realise.
No.
Both of their children. All of their children.
I didn't know.
Mommy?
Oh, God.
Abby? Abby? What happened? Who hurt you, baby girl?
Honey? Having the strangest dream.
I'm not okay with this.
I'm gonna burn it.
Can't.
And burn this house to the ground.
Maybe the Dudleys decide to live there to be with their...
Yeah.
Oh, every splinter is immolated. Burn this house and its hills to the dirt, and I'll salt the earth.
You won't. She's still here.
I'll carry her body back through the woods. I'll bury her by the cottage in the garden that she loved. And when she's buried, say nothing. We kept her out of the world to keep her safe. No, we're the only ones who would even know. We won't say anything about Olivia.
That wasn't her.
We know that.
And your kids, they don't need to hear anything else. Or remember their mother in any way but the way that she truly was.
If you keep this house, keep us on. Keep everyone else away. Let it starve. But leave it here, so I can see her.
This house, it's full of precious things. And they don't all belong to you.
It's dangerous.
Pure fucking evil.
For both of you.
I don't care. This is where she is now. I won't leave her here alone.
Please, you. or you don't.
Did he see?
But they can't be told.
Oh.
I'm sorry. No.
It was dead him that helped them out the house.
This is all yours now. The house. And the promise. I want you to know, you and your sisters and your brother were the best part of life. Never been prouder of anything. Anything. Ever. Take care of each other. Yeah. And be kind to each other. And nothing else. Be kind. I was so lucky to be your dad.
Oh, stop crying. Can't stop. Oh, God. So many of them.
The assembled masses of Hill House. Turn and face them. You know you have to do it. It's your burden now.
No, he doesn't. He knows they're there.
But Luke survived.
Did they? I'm devastated right now.
Home. I am home, I thought, and stopped in wonder at the thought. Now to climb. I've been so wrong about so much. I've lived with ghosts since I was a kid. Since before I knew they were even there. Ghosts are guilt. Ghosts are secrets. Ghosts are regrets and failings. But most times, a ghost is a wish. Like a marriage is a wish. A marriage can be like a house. A marriage can be haunted.
Is she going to tell him the truth?
You're scaring me.
I have something I have to tell you, but I need you to remember while I do that I love you. I'm asking you to love me. And it might be the hardest thing you've ever had to love me. So I'm going to jump, and I'm asking you to hold my hand.
I wish I'd loved you better. And that you see me clearly without disguise. I wish I'd been a better husband.
This fucking episode.
I wish I'd been a better son. I wish I'd been a better brother.
What are you saying, Steve?
I'm saying I built a wall around a big part of my life, and I thought that wall kept us both safe, but walls don't work that way. Walls never work that way.
Oh?
Do the truck full? Got everything? Yeah, I'm ready.
Finally ready to feel.
And all of that, the guilt and the grief, my only wish is to come home. I just want to fix this. Fear. Fear is the relinquishment of logic, the willing relinquishing of reasonable patterns. Over here.
Oh.
Claire, we made it. But so, it seems, is love.
It's the baby that lost, isn't it?
Love is the relinquishment of logic, the willing relinquishing of reasonable patterns. We yield to it, or we fight it, but we cannot meet it halfway. Without it, we cannot continue for long to exist sanely under conditions of absolute reality. Hill House, not sane, stands against its hills holding darkness within. It has stood so for 100 years and it might stand 100 more. Within, walls continue upright, bricks meet neatly, floors are firm, and doors are sensibly shut. Silence lays steadily against the
was devastating.
I mean,
Sorry if I look horrific right now, but I think
What
I've
the
just
fuck
cried
do you
half
say?
my makeup off.
what is there to say? No words.
Oh, it was great. Like,
So good.
because
Yeah.
one of my main worries was whether or not it would actually wrap everything up, and it did.
It
and
really
everything
did.
fall into place.
Yeah. With a fucking bell on top.
The only thing I
Bow.
have a couple of questions.
Okay.
In that, it's a bit weird because he said that the house is like the family's like an unfinished meal to the house, when in reality, I think the family is like a unfinished meal to the mum,
Yeah.
because
It did seem very much like it was her desire to keep them safe.
Because that's
drawing them there.
to keep them safe, and she thinks that he took them away from her. So it's like she's the one that's calling them back to the house, maybe. But then also the house has done stuff to other people
There was a
to
lot
make
of
them
ghosts
crazy
there.
and stuff. But then it's like, is it the house that's making people crazy, or is it Poppy that's making people crazy? Because she seems to be the main crazy one.
She
The
does.
rest of the ghosts just seem to maybe be ghosts.
Mm.
And so it's Poppy, I think, that might drive everyone mad, and not necessarily the house. The house just kind of holds the ghosts and adapts and changes, and so if that's if it's the mum that was actually just the one calling them back, then fair play. And then the dad's made this deal, and Nellie's staying as well, obviously. But if not, then what's to stop the house continuously trying to haunt them and call them back there?
I have a feeling. I don't know what. Like, I thought it was going to end with them all returning. When we saw the Dudleys kind of
Yeah, that was
going
really
to spend
sweet.
it not only was that a great summation of their sort of small arc during the show, but it was also kind of laying the ground to say eventually, if they so choose, the family could return,
Go back and
go back. But now, instead of it being them being drawn back by this dark force that wants to feed on them, it's a reunion. It's them going back to be with their family and to spend time, to spend eternity with their loved ones. It's like, it is still, the house is still there. It's still making ghosts. It's still calling to them. But now it's gone from being kind of a bad thing to sort of being a good thing in a way.
But it's odd. It's
Possibly,
like
if they choose.
they all couldn't let themselves be happy, and it's like maybe the house sort of preyed on the fears and that's what they said. Fear and guilt are sisters, and most of the reasons that, them all being happy at the end, and the reason they couldn't be happy before was because of fear and guilt, mostly. Guilt of something they'd done in the past, guilt of not telling his wife that he couldn't have kids, and all the stuff about the history of the house. So it was those things in a way that was what was actually plaguing them and taking them back to the house, as well as the mum calling back to them all the time.
Yeah.
And the mum not necessarily doing it in a malicious way, but feeling like she's happier on that side and she wants them to be there.
I think she was slightly driven to it by Poppy, who does seem to be
who seems to be
kind
the
of
mental one
architect of all the disasters.
Because she was the one that was tapping them all on the head to try and put them into their craziness. She's like fear and guilt in one, if you know what I mean. But she wasn't she the wife of the one that, was she not the wife of the one that bricked himself in? That they met in the institution?
Possibly, I think so. Yeah.
I thought it was William Hill. The case of William Hill was the one. He was the one that was in the walls, and it was William Hill that was the one that met Poppy in the institution.
And
so,
they're crazy, fed off each other.
Yeah. So, and then he locked himself in with fear and guilt, but also from her, maybe And it's interesting to know whether the other ghosts that are in the house have happened since those two or beforehand, because they could be the actual source of all of the...
Yeah.
Because him bricking himself into the walls...
Literally built his crazy
built the fear into the wall.
Yeah.
And then that's both of them that live there.
That's the black mould that's spread throughout the house.
But then that was only like 100 years ago or something like that they seem to be. I think it was in the... It wasn't even though it was less than that, yeah
70 years.
So if that's happened, then all the other ghosts potentially in this theory since then. So it's the people who keep going in and out of this house and stuff keeps happening. But Stephen is now the gatekeeper, like the dad was. Like, he was holding the door to stop people coming in and out, to stop the house getting his kids. But the Dudleys are there
to be there,
protecting it as well, but also because they wanted to be there. And then obviously when that happened so much to talk about, but when that happened in the police station, and he was like, oh no, board it up, keep the Dudleys there, whatever. Well, I thought they was doing it as a punishment because he was angry with them, but it makes sense. And the whole Abigail thing, fuck, like, we kind of called it, but not like...
I called it hoping that we would be proven wrong.
Yeah.
I really didn't want to be right about that.
But then it's still confusing because he was like, what about the other body? But her body wasn't found, right? They took the body away. So I think it's just the show trying to fuck with us, which the show does so well. I've got to commend. There's so many bits that lead you down a path and then take you back and then lead you back, and you think you're right and then you think you're wrong, because they said the house, the other body, and we're like, what other body? And then they showed...
William.
The one built in the walls, and we were like, oh, that's the body. And then we had the Abigail thing, and we were like, what if she's the other body? But I was like, but if they found a child that had been poisoned with rat poison, it would suddenly open all these other questions.
That wouldn't be like, oh, don't worry, we're fine with the poisoned child.
Yeah.
That one we'll give you, but your wife, that's crazy. No, I mean...
But the whole fucking time Abigail was real.
Yeah.
Luke was playing with Abigail. She did come for a tea party. The mum poisoned her, as well as the other ones. So she wasn't the daughter that was having the drowning and spluttering that Poppy was talking about.
Or was she?
Or it was manifested in that way. But... And it was like... One of the bits that got me the most was actually him burying his wife at the end. Dudley burying Mrs. Dudley, and then kind of being there with their unborn daughter that, you know... And I thought that the dad might sacrifice himself to save all of the kids, which he did. And he's just been a fucking great dad.
He has.
Throughout this entire
boss.
series. All the things that people think about people in here are kind of wrong. Like, he's been a fantastic dad, really, to all of them. And that was such a lovely line. Like, I spent so long holding the door, I didn't have enough my arms, like, to hold the children.
Yeah, that fucking got me, man. That's a good fucking line. The script for this episode, like, the script for this show has been amazing, but there were so many lines in this episode that just cut you deep.
This is 100% one of the best things I've ever watched in my life.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe we've never watched it before. I'm so lucky that you ended up watching Bly Manor but didn't watch this.
Yeah.
And we just decided to do it. And I was so trying not to watch this show because I just thought it was going to be a scary show. I didn't want to just, like...
You won't believe how much, like, finagling and convincing I had to do to get this first
we were like,
episode
should we do it? Because I think I suggested it first, but then when it got closer to it, I was like,
you were trying to kind of avoid
do something else? And now it's at the point where we just wanted to watch this over doing anything else.
We had about 3 other shows. Well, there was 2 we were meant to be recording this weekend, but no, we just ended up watching the last 4 of this back to back because it was just
had to know more. Like, and I'm gonna rewatch it and watch all the bits. And
this is absolutely a show which demands a rewatch on a slightly lighter screen so I can see the background. Analyze it just fucking frame by frame to spot all the creepy ass ghosts appearing in the background and just try and piece together
that's it,
the timeline that's going on.
There's at least 2 more watches because one of them is like there are little bits, I think. So after we've watched our own ones, we sometimes like to then watch other reaction channels that we like, watch it as well and see how they reacted to, like, the really scary jump scare in episode 8. So we'll watch that and see how other people reacted to it. But then we'll spot things that they've watched from the previous episodes where we're like, oh, that makes sense because of this, because, that you didn't know at that point. But then when you find it out later, when you go back and watch it, you're like, oh, that was this.
Suddenly everything makes sense.
So I kind of want to rewatch it for those bits and then rewatch it just to look for all the, like, hidden ghosts and stuff like that. It's just crazy.
I genuinely can't think of a one-season show which I've enjoyed more than this.
Yeah.
Like there are other shows I've loved more than this show, but they've had like 3 or 4 seasons to make me fall for the characters.
Well, I've said
to get me invested in the show.
In terms of specifically one season
Yeah.
things, mine is I love Band of Brothers. It's a one season thing that I'm just obsessed with. It's in my top 3 favourite things I've ever seen ever. But this might be in there too now. I think I'm going to have to do a rearranging of some shows because this one was just
So good.
so many emotions. The journey it took you on, the writing, the path, the misleading, but
So many
but
false
never
turns.
never in a stupid, unexplained way.
No.
Like
It's like it will throw something at you. You'll be like, wait, what? How? What the fuck? How does that make sense? And then it'll just explain to you exactly why it makes sense, and you just like you're left in awe of how the way they kind of breadcrumb all these little twists episodes in advance, and like just such brilliant character development in ways that you would never expect. Like you'll see someone do something and be like, oh, why the hell are they doing that? And then like by the end of the episode, it'll all make sense, and it's just you kind of. You hate it, but you love it, and you hate yourself, but you love that you're watching it.
And that was it. Even like a good example of that was the bit when they were leaving, and Stephen sees something. Well, in a room, was it?
It was that fucking balcony where they've all died.
Yeah, but he saw something, and they all just didn't because they were walking past. Yeah. Was he just there on the balcony, the dad? But how did the rest of them miss it?
Because they were busy getting everyone out.
Well, yeah, but it was them two that were carrying him. So I thought they just stumbled on something, but they did. Maybe they stumbled on him. Dead him.
No, he was like tugged away. I think it was one of those things where like that at that point the house is still the house didn't want the others to see, so they went past. But Stephen, it was like you're like the dad was like you're inheriting this weight from me, so you have to clock that.
Because that was weird as... Right, let me finish talking about that bit first. But, yeah, that was incredible. And he'd already... And that realisation as well, that actually... I was like, how does that work? And I was like, oh, it was the ghost dad that helped them.
Yeah.
Which is weird, because obviously these ghosts, you can hold things and whatever, because he was helping carry Luke out. But that it was Nellie's touch that was getting them all to wake up, and that was so beautiful. The whole thing with Nell, it's so sad that she ended up in that position, but she is, I mean, at least she is still with her mum, and she's not alone.
She saved them all. If she hadn't been there,
but
they would have all died.
It was the realisation that she wanted to live, really, or that they all should have lived, and that's why she fought to make sure that they could all live, which was amazing, really. And she was the one. Because back at the grave scene when Luke was being pulled in, and the mum was like, what was the mum saying? Because at that point, Nell was saying, stop. She was basically saying what she was saying then, but the mum was kind of pulling him under. Yeah. The mum, I think, said, don't leave.
And she said, don't.
Oh, yeah. And
leave. We thought she was saying, don't leave, but she was saying, don't leave. Like, don't come here, leave. And the same thing she was saying on the table.
Yeah, but it was Nellie that said something, and then the mum that said something, I think. So I know that Nellie was saying don't, and then maybe
so good.
I don't know, but
so overwhelmed right now.
Yeah, but the whole thing with poor Nell, but it was very, very sweet. I feel like a lot of Stephen's speech at the end, I didn't even take in, as in talking about the house and stuff, because I was just too busy bawling. So I might have to go back and watch all the stuff he was saying about the house, because I was too busy crying my eyes out.
Yeah, that's good. I'm going to take this opportunity to apologise to you all. I don't think we really said anything for about the last 20 minutes of that episode. We were just crying and dying and watching. So we might have been the most reactive this episode, but hopefully we're making up for it. I think the fact that we were
crying our eyes out was probably good enough.
Just quietly sobbing away.
Oh, it's just like with the whole season, but this episode in particular, was so many bits where I was like, oh, this is this thing, and that's that thing, and it was just, but it was just done amazingly. Yeah. It's very rare as well that you have something that does story so well like this throughout the season, and then still wraps up well, and the same, and has this. I've never been on a journey that's kind of had this level of emotion, feeling, and complication, but wonderfully from start to finish.
Yeah, it was
like
relentless.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was just laid out so perfectly, and an amazing journey. Again, I could talk about this for hours, but it's going to be hard for you to edit. Is there anything else you want to say?
So many things. Like, there were so many great scenes that we're not... I feel like we're missing huge swathes of that episode, and there's things we need to talk about. But I'm just fucking ruined right now.
We might do another episode, just a sort of discussion another time when we've had time to sort of process some of this stuff. But
after show,
I was thinking, it was weird how the bar guy wasn't a ghost, but she saw him all the time, because none of the other ones really see living people, unless he had died along the way, but nobody else sees living people that they have this guilt or fear over. She was consistently seeing this guy, but he wasn't a ghost. He was just her guilt.
Creepy bar dude, as
from
it
the
from the
past.
start.
But that's what then Stephen said was like, ghosts are guilt, wishes, all of this stuff.
I've got to say thank you for bringing that up. They've been teasing creepy bar guy since like episode 2.
Yeah.
And I've got to say, of all the amazing twists and reveals in this show, that was by far the weakest. The fact she had a one-night stand with some creepy bar guy, compared to the other shits that was revealed this show.
But it works for her character, I think.
Yeah, she is
someone that doesn't speak and locks down, and all of this, and it was a kind of a moment of weakness from her perfect life and how she was.
I mean, it ties into what Theo was saying before, that she wants to believe she's perfect Cheryl and everyone else is fucking up her life. But she fucks up just as much as they all do.
Yeah.
But I still... I was expecting there to be one final twist to that story. And there wasn't. It was just... She got drunk and hooked up with a guy at a conference. It's like, don't do that. It's bad. But, compared to the things that were weighing the rest of her siblings down, it was pretty bush league.
Yeah, I don't mind it. But... I just enjoyed all of it, to be honest, at this point. It's nice and obviously I was kind of expecting it to all end kind of bittersweet, and it is still kind of bittersweet because the dad and the mum and Nell died in there, but it ended a lot more positive than I thought it was going to. And
Luke's alive and still clean, celebrating 2 years clean.
Was it 2 years clean?
It was.
I'm sure it said 2 days clean. That's why I was really confused. But again, the tears I couldn't see through. But
I just saw a 2 and it seemed it was 2 years.
The rest of them, all of them are just like happy and so much happier than they were before, and I feel complete and like I've got closure and everything from the show, which is really great.
Really rare.
Yeah.
It's very seldom a show gets a chance to just tell its own little self-contained perfect story. But they fucking managed it.
Any other thoughts before we wrap this up?
Not for now, no. We may have to revisit this series and do another video at some point, but for now I think we're done. I've got to say, I'm gonna fucking miss the Cranes. Like I want more from the family. I want to see more adventures with them, but I'm very glad that we're not going to, because it means they get to live sort of happily ever after. They get to live.
And like you said, they may all end
enough.
up back at the house anyway. So.
Headcanon, I like to think they will.
Yeah. So guys, we really want to hear from you guys in the comments. You've all been giving us lots of great comments and stuff
Really
throughout,
nice.
helping us along in this journey, and now everything's kind of been revealed. Really want to chat to all of you about it.
We need to have some serious conversations.
Please do comment back in the comments, talk to us over on Twitter, however you like, but definitely want to be discussing this with you guys. And if you liked our reactions, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you're notified of any future uploads as soon as we upload them. And the link to our Twitter is down below in the description. And please keep suggesting great shows for us to watch. This one blew our minds and changed our lives. So
big thanks to everyone that's told us to watch this show, because it really was quite special.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Gonna go cry for a little bit. Take care.
Bye. I'm
Bye.
done.